canceling its soybean contracts with North Dakota, leaving American farmers scrambling to find new markets.
China shuts down the $34 billion U.S. farming industry. See, in the heartland of America, endless soybean and corn fields have stood as pillars of prosperity and global abundance. But what happens when the very foundation of this agricultural might is shaken by shifting geopolitical tides? As China turns away from U.S. imports, can American farmers navigate this uncharted territory without losing their livelihoods and the stability of rural communities? Amidst mounting economic pressures and technological barriers, will innovation and resilience be enough to restore America's dominance in the global market? How will emerging players like Brazil and Argentina reshape agricultural power structures? And what does this mean for future food security worldwide? The calm before the storm. American farmers have long depended on exports to China, a relationship forged through decades of mutual benefit and economic interdependence. As the world's largest importer of agricultural products, China has provided a stable and lucrative market for U.S. soybeans and corn. This dependence has fostered prosperity in rural communities, creating jobs, supporting local businesses, and ensuring the viability of farming operations. The steady demand from China has been a pillar of hope, allowing farmers to plan for the future with confidence and contribute significantly to the nation's economy. Behind the scenes, these agricultural hubs are more than just production centers. They are vibrant communities where families have worked the land for generations. The stability provided by consistent exports has enabled investments in infrastructure, education, and healthcare, weaving a fabric of resilience and growth. So what's happening now? The storm of chaos. Beneath the serene surface of agricultural prosperity, tensions between the United States and China have been simmering for years. The historical trade partnership, while beneficial, has been fraught with challenges in shifting geopolitical landscapes. As the global economy evolves, so too do the dynamics of international trade, revealing vulnerabilities that were previously overshadowed by mutual dependence. China's rapid economic growth has transformed it into a formidable trading partner, but also a competitor. The intricate web of trade agreements and mutual benefits has begun to fray as both nations grapple with issues of market access, intellectual property, and strategic dominance. Meanwhile, emerging players like Brazil and Argentina have been steadily increasing their presence in the global agricultural market, poised to challenge the established order. These South American giants have leveraged their vast arable lands and favorable climates to boost production, positioning themselves as attractive alternatives for Chinese imports. The sustainability of the U.S.-China trade relationship comes into question as political shifts and economic strategies diverge. Policies aimed at protecting domestic industries and reducing dependency on foreign markets create an environment of uncertainty. Questions arise about the longevity of these alliances and the potential for dramatic changes in trade flows. As Brazil and Argentina advance their agricultural capabilities, the stage is set for a significant realignment in global trade, with the United States facing the prospect of losing its dominant position. The brewing storm of trade tensions hints at impending upheavals that could reshape the agricultural landscape and the lives of those who depend on it. The trade war begins. The announcement sent shockwaves through the agricultural heartland. China was shifting its focus away from American imports, imposing extensive tariffs that effectively halted the purchase of U.S. soybeans and corn. This declaration marked the beginning of an unprecedented trade war, thrusting American farmers into a state of crisis. The once reliable markets had vanished overnight, leaving farmers grappling with plummeting prices and unsold inventory. The economic impact was immediate and devastating. Farmers who had meticulously planned their harvests and investments found themselves facing financial uncertainty. Crop prices, which had been buoyed by Chinese demand, began to tumble, eroding profits and threatening the very viability of farming operations. The sudden withdrawal of China, America's top importer, meant that millions of metric tons of soybeans and corn were left without a market, saturating an already volatile global supply chain. Voices from the fields echoed the collective despair. John Thompson, a soybean farmer in Iowa, described the situation as a punch in the gut, capturing the raw emotion and helplessness felt across the farming community. The uncertainty loomed large, with farmers uncertain about the future of their livelihoods and the stability of rural economies. The trade war had not only disrupted economic stability, but also shaken the foundational trust that farmers placed in international markets, setting the stage for a prolonged prolonged and bitter conflict. The ripple effect, as the dust began to settle from the initial shock of China's departure, the broader implications of the trade war started to unfold. The decreased demand from China led to a significant drop in soybean and corn prices, sending ripples of economic strain through rural communities. Farmers, already grappling with reduced incomes, faced mounting debts and the harsh reality of shrinking operational scales. The financial strain was not confined to the fields. It permeated local businesses, schools, and healthcare facilities, threatening the very fabric of these tight-knit communities. The cultural upheaval was palpable. Farming, long regarded as a stable and honorable profession, now became synonymous with economic hardship and uncertainty. Families who had invested their lives in agriculture found themselves contemplating the abandonment of ancestral lands. The social dynamics shifted as community members faced layoffs, business closures, and the emotional toll of financial instability. The once prosperous rural areas began to experience population decline, with younger generations seeking opportunities elsewhere in search of stability. Moreover, the realignment in global agricultural supply chains hinted at long-term consequences that extended beyond immediate economic impacts. The permanent shift away from U.S. exports meant that global food security could be jeopardized, as alternative suppliers struggled to meet the heightened demand from China. The strategic importance of soybeans and corn in global markets underscored the profound interconnectedness of international trade, revealing how geopolitical decisions could have far-reaching effects on both national economies and the livelihoods of countless individuals. The ripple effect of the trade war set the stage for deeper conflict and a fundamental transformation of the agricultural landscape. Endurance and adaptation. In the wake of China's sudden withdrawal from U.S. agricultural imports, American farmers were compelled to rethink their strategies to survive the economic downturn. Faced with plummeting prices and unsold inventory, many turned their attention inward, seeking out alternative domestic markets and new international buyers. Local cooperatives began negotiating directly with regional processors and retailers, aiming to establish more resilient supply chains, less dependent on volatile international markets. Government intervention played a crucial role during this tumultuous period. Federal and state authorities rolled out a series of subsidy programs designed to cushion the financial blow to farmers. These subsidies provided much-needed relief, allowing farmers to cover essential costs such as seeds, equipment maintenance, and labor. Additionally, emergency loans became more accessible, enabling farmers to invest in diversifying their crop portfolios and exploring high-value agricultural products that could fetch better prices in alternative markets. Agricultural economists offered valuable insights into potential long-term adaptations. They highlighted the importance of crop diversification as a hedge against future market disruptions, suggesting that farmers incorporate a mix of crops to reduce dependency on any single export market. Furthermore, there was a growing emphasis on sustainable farming practices, which not only responded to shifting consumer preferences but also ensured the longevity and health of the farming ecosystem. These adaptive measures, while challenging to implement swiftly, laid the groundwork for a more resilient and diversified agricultural sector, capable of weathering future uncertainties. New alliances. As American farmers grappled with the fallout of the trade war, South American nations like Brazil and Argentina seized the opportunity to expand their agricultural exports to China. These countries, endowed with vast arable lands and favorable climates, ramped up production to meet the burgeoning demand previously fulfilled by U.S. exports. Investments in advanced farming technologies and infrastructure enhancements enabled them to increase yields and improve the quality of their produce, making their offerings even more attractive to Chinese buyers. Technological innovations played a pivotal role in this agricultural surge. Precision farming techniques, driven by advancements in data analytics and automation, allowed South American farmers to optimize their crop management processes. These technologies enhanced efficiency, reduced waste, and maximized output, ensuring that Brazil and Argentina could meet the high standards demanded by the Chinese market. Additionally, investments in logistics and transportation infrastructure reduced delivery times and costs, further solidifying their status as reliable suppliers. The shifting dynamics within the global agricultural landscape signaled a potential realignment of power structures. With Brazil and Argentina stepping into the void left by the United States, the traditional dominance of American grain exports was challenged. This emerging new order not only altered trade flows, but also prompted other countries to reassess their agricultural strategies and market positions. The rise of South American agricultural powerhouses suggests suggested a more multipolar global market, where dependence on a single exporter was no longer the norm. This realignment had profound implications for international trade policies, economic partnerships, and the future stability of global food security. The technological divide. Amidst these sweeping changes, a significant obstacle emerged for American farmers. The technological divide. Proprietary software and tightly controlled agricultural technologies, often provided by multinational corporations, created barriers that hindered farmers' ability to adapt swiftly to the new market realities. These technologies, while advanced, were frequently locked into long-term contracts and restrictive licensing agreements, limiting farmers' flexibility to switch systems or adopt new innovations that could better suit their evolving needs. In contrast, South American farmers benefited from a more flexible and innovative approach to technology adoption. Open-source farming technologies and collaborative innovations allowed for greater adaptability and responsiveness to market demands. This contrast highlighted the structural disadvantages faced by American farmers, who were constrained by their reliance on proprietary systems that stifled innovation and adaptation. The lack of access to more adaptable technologies impeded their ability to implement the necessary changes to remain competitive in a rapidly shifting global market. The frustration over technological lock-ins sparked a wave of lawsuits and policy debates surrounding the right to repair movement. Farmers and advocacy groups called for greater control over their agricultural technologies, pushing for legislation that would grant them the freedom to modify, repair, and integrate different technological solutions without facing legal or financial repercussions. These debates underscored the urgent need for a more equitable technological landscape in agriculture, one that empowers farmers to innovate and adapt without being held back by restrictive practices. The outcome of these discussions held significant implications for the future of American agriculture, potentially paving the way for a more open and resilient farming sector. The pressure builds. As the trade war continued to unfold, the pressure on U.S. policymakers intensified. Legislators found themselves caught between the competing demands of protecting domestic industries and maintaining fair trade practices. The plight of American farmers became a prominent issue in political discourse, with representatives from rural districts advocating fiercely for policies that would provide sustainable relief and support. Debates in Congress grew more heated, reflecting the deep divisions and urgent need for strategic intervention to stabilize the agricultural sector. Global organizations and think tanks weighed in on the crisis, emphasizing the importance of equitable trade and environmental sustainability. Reports highlighted the interconnectedness of global food systems and the necessity of cooperative international efforts to ensure food security. These organizations called for comprehensive strategies that not only addressed the immediate economic hardships, but also promoted long-term sustainability and resilience in agricultural practices. Their advocacy underscored the broader implications of the trade conflict, stressing that the repercussions extended beyond national borders and affected global stability. Discussions about the trade shift also delved into the realm of global food security and sustainability. Experts warned that the realignment of agricultural supply chains could exacerbate vulnerabilities in regions already facing food shortages and environmental challenges. The potential for reduced diversity in global food sources raised concerns about the resilience of international food systems in the face of future crises. This pivotal turning point highlighted the need for a coordinated global response to mitigate the adverse effects of the trade war, ensuring that the transition towards more resilient and sustainable agricultural practices benefited not only individual nations, but also the global community at large. A strategic pivot. In the face of adversity, the U.S. agricultural sector began to seek innovative solutions to regain its footing on the global stage. Farmers and agribusiness leaders recognized that traditional methods were no longer sufficient to navigate the rapidly changing trade landscape. This realization sparked a wave of innovation aimed at enhancing productivity, sustainability, and competitiveness. One of the most notable advancements was the adoption of precision farming techniques. Utilizing GPS technology, drones, and data analytics, farmers could now monitor crop health with unprecedented accuracy. This technology allowed for the precise application of water, fertilizers, and pesticides, reducing waste and increasing yields. By embracing these modern methods, American farmers were not only improving efficiency, but also demonstrating their commitment to sustainable practices. Partnerships with technology firms also played a crucial role in this innovative pursuit. Collaborations between agricultural enterprises and tech companies led to the development of more accessible and user-friendly farming technologies. These partnerships aim to minimize dependence on restrictive systems by providing farmers with tools that could be easily integrated into their existing operations. For instance, the introduction of cloud-based management platforms enabled farmers to access real-time data and make informed decisions, enhancing their ability to respond to market fluctuations swiftly. Moreover, there was a significant surge in organic farming, tapping into the growing global demand for healthier and more environmentally friendly food options. Farmers began transitioning to organic practices, focusing on soil health, crop diversity, and the elimination of synthetic chemicals. This shift not only opened new market opportunities, but also positioned American agriculture as a leader in sustainable farming. The rise of organic farming communities showcased resilience and adaptability, proving that even in the face of economic hardship, innovation could pave the way for a brighter future. Revelations and insights. As the agricultural sector delved deeper into innovative practices, pivotal revelations began to emerge, reshaping the understanding of trade conflicts and their environmental implications. New economic and environmental studies provided insights into the long-term consequences of the trade dynamics that had upended the status quo. Researchers discovered that the abrupt shift in trade patterns had significant environmental repercussions. The increased reliance on alternative markets led to changes in land use and farming practices, some of which had unintended negative impacts on ecosystems. These findings highlighted the importance of balancing economic resilience with environmental stewardship, urging policymakers and farmers alike to consider sustainable approaches in their strategies. Communities across the Midwest and beyond began to find success stories amidst the turmoil. Small-scale farmers who had embraced sustainable practices and diversified their crop portfolios were able to thrive despite the international pressures. These success stories served as beacons of hope, offering valuable lessons on the importance of adaptability and innovation. They demonstrated that with the right strategies, it was possible to turn challenges into opportunities, fostering a more resilient and diversified agricultural landscape. The potential of agricultural technology to revolutionize farming became increasingly evident. Innovations such as vertical farming, hydroponics, and automated harvesting systems promised to transform the way food was produced, making agriculture more efficient and less resource-intensive. These advancements drew parallels with breakthroughs in the tech industry, where continuous innovation had driven growth and competitiveness. The convergence of technology and agriculture signaled a new era where smart farming techniques could address both economic and environmental challenges, ensuring the sustainability and prosperity of American agriculture in the long run. The confrontation and climax. As farmers continued to innovate and adapt, the political landscape also underwent significant changes. The trade war remained a contentious issue, with farmers and policymakers at the forefront of heated debates about the future direction of American agriculture. These debates were not just about economic survival, but also about the fundamental values and priorities of the nation's agricultural policies. In political arenas and public forums, representatives from rural districts passionately advocated for policies that would provide sustainable relief and support to the agricultural sector. They argued for measures that would protect farmers from future market disruptions, ensuring that the backbone of rural America remained strong and viable. These fervent discussions highlighted the critical role that agriculture played in the national economy and the urgent need for strategic interventions to stabilize the sector. Grassroots movements gained momentum as farmers organized and mobilized to push for meaningful change. These movements emphasized the need for innovation, sustainability, and equitable trade practices, rallying support from both within and outside the farming communities. Farmers voiced their concerns about the limitations imposed by proprietary technologies and the necessity of having greater control over their agricultural practices. Their advocacy underscored the importance of empowering farmers to drive the future of agriculture, fostering a culture of resilience and self-determination. Amidst the mounting pressures, a major policy breakthrough signaled a potential turning point. Legislators introduced comprehensive agricultural reforms aimed at supporting innovation, sustainability, and market diversification. These reforms included increased funding for research and development, incentives for adopting sustainable practices, and initiatives to strengthen domestic and alternative international markets. This pivotal decision offered a glimpse of resolution and change, suggesting that the combined efforts of farmers, policymakers, and innovators could steer American agriculture towards a more resilient and prosperous future. Seeds of change. With the implementation of progressive agricultural policies, the landscape began to shift towards a more hopeful yet uncertain future. Lawmakers and influencers took the initial steps to transform the agricultural sector, focusing on long-term sustainability and resilience. These steps included promoting crop diversification, investing in sustainable farming technologies, and fostering stronger ties with emerging markets beyond China. Consumer behavior also evolved, with a growing preference for locally sourced and sustainably produced food driving new opportunities for growth. Farmers responded by increasing their offerings of organic and specialty crops, catering to the changing tastes and demands of consumers. This shift not only opened new revenue streams, but also reinforced the importance of sustainability in farming practices, aligning economic success with environmental responsibility. The resilience and adaptability of rural communities became increasingly evident as they navigated these unprecedented challenges. Farmers like Emily Carter in Nebraska and Carlos Mendoza in Texas showcased remarkable ingenuity, implementing innovative farming techniques and diversifying their products to meet new market demands. Their stories highlighted the strength of community bonds and the collective effort required to overcome adversity, demonstrating that even in the face of significant uncertainty, the spirit of rural America remained unbroken. As these communities embraced change, the foundation was laid for a transformed agricultural sector poised to thrive in a new global landscape. The seeds of change planted through innovation, policy reform, and community resilience began to bear fruit, offering a glimpse of a future where American agriculture could sustain itself and continue to play a vital role in feeding the world. The journey towards a strategic pivot was far from complete, but the progress made in these crucial months hinted at a positive trajectory, setting the stage for continued growth and adaptation in the years to come. The aftermath. The air in rural America carried a mix of hope and skepticism as the dust settled from the tumultuous changes brought about by the trade war. Communities that had once teetered on the brink of economic collapse began to show signs of resilience and renewal. Farmers who had struggled to adapt were now reflecting on their journeys, celebrating victories, and learning from their challenges. Emily Carter, a soybean farmer in Nebraska, stood proudly in her thriving organic field. After years of battling fluctuating markets and shifting trade policies, she had transitioned to organic farming, tapping into the growing demand for sustainable produce. It wasn't easy, she admitted, but diversifying my crops and investing in sustainable practices not only saved my farm, but also opened new doors I never thought possible. Emily's story was echoed by countless others who had embraced innovation and sustainability, turning adversity into opportunity. Economic adjustments were evident across farming communities. Cooperative efforts had become more common, with farmers pooling resources to invest in advanced technologies and share best practices. Financial recovery strategies such as diversifying crop portfolios and exploring niche markets had begun to bear fruit. These strategies not only stabilized incomes, but also reduced dependence on any single market, fostering a more resilient agricultural economy. On a national level, the new trade policies introduced during the crisis had started to reshape the agricultural landscape. Trade agreements were renegotiated to include more equitable terms, ensuring that American farmers could compete on a more balanced playing field. These policies aimed to stabilize global markets, prevent future disruptions, and promote fair trade practices. The initial impact was promising, with increased exports to alternative markets and a gradual restoration of confidence among farmers and stakeholders alike. Forecasts suggested a more diversified and sustainable global agricultural market, where American agriculture could once again play a pivotal role. Interconnected futures. The ripple effects of the trade war extended far beyond the borders of the United States, leading to a profound interconnectedness in global agricultural strategies. Nations around the world began to reassess and realign their agricultural practices to meet the new global demands and challenges. In Europe, countries like Germany and France invested heavily in technological advancements to enhance their agricultural output. Precision farming, vertical agriculture, and biotechnology became cornerstones of their strategies, allowing these nations to produce more with less and reduce their reliance on imports. These innovations not only boosted their agricultural productivity, but also positioned them as key players in the global market. Asia saw a surge in collaborative efforts, with countries like India and Vietnam partnering to enhance their agricultural infrastructure and export capabilities. These partnerships aim to create more resilient supply chains and increase the production of essential crops, ensuring food security and economic stability in the face of global uncertainties. This shift fostered a more interconnected world, where countries work together to address common challenges and leverage shared opportunities. The trend towards localized food production gained momentum, driven by both technological advancements and a growing consumer preference for sustainably produced food. Urban farming and community-supported agriculture became prevalent, reshaping traditional agricultural practices and reducing the carbon footprint associated with long-distance food transportation. This movement not only promoted environmental sustainability, but also strengthened local economies, creating a more balanced and equitable global agricultural system. Continued collaborations and tensions between nations underscored the complexity of the global agricultural landscape. While partnerships flourished, competition for resources and market share remained intense, highlighting the delicate balance between cooperation and rivalry. This interconnectedness fostered a dynamic environment where innovation thrived, but so did the challenges of maintaining equitable and sustainable practices across diverse regions and economies. Towards resolution, international negotiations reached a critical juncture as nations sought to stabilize global agricultural markets and prevent future trade conflicts. These negotiations, marked by diplomacy and strategic dialogue, aimed to create a more resilient and fair global trade framework that could withstand geopolitical tensions and economic shifts. Progress was made as countries agreed on several key initiatives designed to promote stability and sustainability. Joint efforts to enhance agricultural research and development led to significant advancements in crop genetics, climate-resilient farming practices, and sustainable resource management. These initiatives not only bolstered agricultural productivity, but also addressed pressing environmental concerns, ensuring that growth did not come at the expense of the planet. Policy reforms continued to shape the agricultural landscape, with a focus on inclusivity and equity. Small and large-scale farmers alike benefited from reforms that provided access to funding, technological support, and market opportunities. Programs aimed at reducing barriers to entry for emerging farmers fostered a more diverse and dynamic agricultural sector, encouraging innovation and competition. These reforms also emphasized ecological responsibility, integrating sustainable practices into the core of agricultural policies and ensuring that economic growth was aligned with environmental stewardship. The emergence of digitized agriculture marked a transformative shift towards a more efficient and ecologically balanced farming system. Advanced data analytics, artificial intelligence, and automation revolutionized farming practices, allowing for real-time monitoring, precise resource allocation, and predictive maintenance. This digitization not only enhanced productivity, but also minimized environmental impact, creating a harmonious balance between technological progress and ecological responsibility. The integration of these technologies paved the way for a new era of smart farming, where efficiency and sustainability coexisted seamlessly.